It is not good to open a keynote address with an apology, but I have to make one on this occasion. My President, His Excellency, under the tongue, conveyed his deepest apologies to this summit, and in particular to the host of the summit for his inability to come and deliver this keynote address at this momentous summit. Unforeseen event in Kiribati have prevented him from leaving the country. So with your indulgence, I will deliver this keynote address on his behalf. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I extend to you all warm greetings from Kiribati and from the Pacific. Kamna Maori. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be part of this historic IONET Summit hosted by His Royal Highness in this beautiful and historic state of Abu Dhabi. Let me at the outset add my own voice to earlier speakers in expressing my deep gratitude to the President, his government, and the people of the United Arab Emirates and the Emirate of Abu Dhabi for their warm hospitality accorded to my delegation. I congratulate also the facilitators and organizers of this meeting for bringing us together from different sections of the communities, countries, and regions to convene, converge, and collaborate on globally important survival issues facing humanity and our planet today. I am privileged to be a part of this gathering and this particular session on delivering the vision representing a small island nation in the Pacific. I am here to share with you our vision for the future as a people, as a nation, as a region, and as part of the international community. You have deliberated over the past few days on the theme of the summit, and how this could contribute to sustainable development and essentially survival of humanity and our planet, Earth. Different sectors of our communities have provided their input into the outcome of the summit. On this last day of the summit, I wish to share with you our initiatives in addressing the challenges we face, which will hopefully contribute to the outcome of the summit on the issue of data and networking critical for the preservation of Earth's life support systems. I bring this message to you from the perspective of a leader and a policy maker of an island nation in the Pacific, an island nation whose very existence is being threatened by climate change and sea level rise. Ladies and gentlemen, what I will share today, while based on my own country's and people's experiences, is representative of the situation of the people in other small island developing countries, particularly those in the Pacific. And I would like at this juncture recognize the excellent statement delivered yesterday by His Honorable Prime Minister of the Cook Islands. Kiribati is truly a nation of water. Our population is over 110 or 100,000, half of whom live on Tarawa, the capital. Our ocean is the source of our livelihood, providing us with 90% of our protein. The ocean is also a source of our income, both at the individual and national level. 80% of our people make their living through fishing. My government earns about 40% of its total revenue from the sale of fishing licenses. While this may seem significant, it only represents 5% of the value of our fish. It is a strong desire and aspiration of my government to maximize returns from this important resource through value adding. When I was thinking about how to convey the message today, a quote from Mahatma Gandhi came to mind, which reflects what I believe to be the root cause of the Earth's environmental problem today. Problems that I believe to have underpinned the convening of this summit. Gandhi said, and I quote, "There is enough on this planet for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed," unquote. Greed is indeed the force that pushes humanity towards unsustainable patterns of consumption and overexploitations of Earth's resources. Greed is responsible for the current poor state of our environment and our planet as a result of centuries of pollution and destruction of our precious Earth life support systems to serve our narrow individualistic interest. Indeed, there is so much that we do not know about our environment and our planet. The little we know comes from the little data available to us. But the little that we know tells us that Earth is not well because of our greed. We need to keep monitoring the state of the Earth's health to ensure the viability to support life, our lives. Climate change, the greatest moral challenge facing humanity today, and significant global biodiversity loss are results of our greed. Let me say a few words on this critical issue that is threatening the survival of the whole of humanity, with immediate impact on those of us on the front line of this calamity. The available data has been processed by a scientific community who have confirmed through the fourth assessment report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, that climate change is happening, and it is happening as a result of human activities or greed. For low-lying island communities like Tuvalu, the Marshall Islands, the Maldives, and indeed, of course, my country, Kiribati, among others, climate change poses the very real issues of security and survival. The prospect of low-lying island countries in the face of ever-worsening projections of sea level rise continue to be pessimistic. Given the lack of response from the international community, my government decided on a combination of options as adaptation strategies in response to the impact of climate change on our people. We have to seek other available options for our people. One of these options, which is beyond the traditional adaptation measures that we are planning to implement, involves the possible relocation of our people as an option of last resort. A merit-based relocation program which will allow our people to migrate not as refugees, but as contributing members of society. It will allow our people to migrate on merit and with dignity. The full implications of such an option are deeply emotional, and have only started to receive positive reactions from our communities. But I have always contended that given the unprecedented nature of the harsh realities we must confront, it will not serve the interests of our future generations to be less pragmatic at a time when leadership is called for. These options were informed by IPCC forward assessment report confirming the rate of emissions and the impact on the world. These demonstrate the value of environmental information and networking for informed decision-making. It is frustrating that even with availability of data and information in the area of climate change, there is still disagreement at the international level on the way forward. The Durban negotiations have not progressed as we would like them to be. One would think that a way forward would be obvious with all the information we have before us if we want to save those on the front line and eventually the whole of humanity. This brings me back to my earlier point on human greed, which is preventing collaboration at the international level to deal with these global challenges. The only way to deal with climate change is by cooperation, collaboration, and partnership. The world needs appropriate data and information together with a sense of humanity to be convinced of the need for urgent action that will ensure the survival of peoples. Unfortunately, there is still a great sense of greed and selfishness in the world shown by some who continue to pursue policies for their own benefit at the expense of others. As leaders, it is our duty to the people we serve, and indeed to the whole of humanity, to make informed decisions that will ensure their survival through the sustainability of our resources, our environment, and our planet. We have so far failed to achieve this. At the Rio Summit in 1992, we attempted to restore the health of our environment and our planet by agreeing to certain principles contained in the Rio Declaration that will ensure sustainable development. Development in harmony with nature. The critical role of environmental information and networking for decision-making and effective policy interventions to be made accessible to all who need it was one of those principles. Indeed, everything we do in this day and age invariably runs on information. Paradoxically, for us, the small developing island countries, and indeed for most of the Pacific Island countries, Principle 10 of the Rio Declaration has no practical meaning. This is because environmental information is a scarce commodity for us. Even when such information does exist, it is often of limited value because of its poor quality. Accordingly, our role as decision makers are constantly being challenged to make vital decisions without the necessary data and information being available to us. The only occasions where we were able to make informed decisions were when data information is available from sources outside the country. The IPCC Forward Assessment Report is an example of this that allowed my government to develop its response to climate change. The IPCC report, which is a culmination of collaboration of the international scientific community, is also a testament to what we can achieve if we work in partnership to ensure the survival of humanity and of our planet. Survival should be the end toward which our actions must aim to achieve. Actions that should be informed by appropriate information and implemented through networking and partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, it is reassuring to note that one of the issues considered by this summit is capacity building. For us in the small developing nations, this is what matters most. The lack or non-existence of environmental information that I have alluded to earlier is due not to the lack of data, but fundamentally because of the lack of capacities in these countries to collect, process, and convert this data into usable and relevant information and in a format that is useful for decision making. This is the heart of the problem, and this is where partnership plays a key role. Partnership was indeed one of the key Rio principles, Principle 27, and today we should focus our energy on the promotion of partnership for the generation, sharing, and networking of information and experiences to achieve our end goal of survival. If we continue with business as usual, the fine balance on which hangs Earth life support system will be pushed to the earth and will have far-reaching consequences for humanity and for our planet. Let me, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, share with you a success story of the partnership from my country, Kiribati, and from my region, the Pacific. And I'm referring here to what we call the Phoenix Islands protected area. The Phoenix Island protected area is Kiribati's contribution for addressing global biodiversity loss, or Phoenix Islands Protected is for short, PIPA. PIPA is but one of the many national initiatives found around the Pacific. In August last year, PIPA was inscribed on the World Heritage Site, making it the largest World Heritage Site in the world. at least for now. This historic event is a major achievement and victory, not just for Kiribati and Partners of People, Conservation International, and New England Aquarium, but also for the Pacific and the world. It is our hope that international resources would be mobilized to assist us in implementing our ocean governance and management programs. For those of you who are not very familiar with PIPA, let me briefly share with you some facts on PIPA. In 2006, the government of Kiribati took steps to designate part of its EEZ as a marine protected area. By 2008, the final stages were concluded to allocate an area of 410,000 square kilometers, or 11% of Kiribati's EEZ, as the Phoenix Islands protected area. This area is comparable to the size of the state of California, so I'm sure you can appreciate the challenge of managing and monitoring such a vast area and space. The Phoenix Islands protected area, PIPA, is a gift from a poor, small, developing countries to humanity. It's a Kiribati way of showing the world what it means to live well within the ecological limit of a finite planet. PIPA is unique in the world and globally significant as a natural climate change laboratory, providing an opportunity to study the impact of climate change on tropical marine ecosystems without other impact. The designation of PIPA was by no means straightforward, as forces both within the country and beyond expressed deep reservations. Our fisheries partners contested the loss of some of their fertile fishing grounds, whilst our own people protested the potential loss of much-needed revenue. The Kiribati government and our people partners, Conservation International and New England Aquarium, established a trust fund to compensate for this revenue loss and to provide financing for the implementation of the people management plan. Management and surveillance of the people will offer some serious challenges, as I referred to, given our limited capabilities, but we believe that this will be achievable through collaboration and with the contribution of like-minded groups and individuals wishing to join us on this challenge. For us in Kiribati, it is a partnership with New England Aquarium and Conservation International that made PIPA possible. With the technical and financial resources of our partners, plus the environment under our jurisdiction, government was able to realize the significance of conserving the Phoenix Island, not just for our own benefit, but for the whole humanity. We call on those who can contribute to this effort to join our partnership to enable us to safeguard this precious treasure for us all. At the regional level, the Pacific Oceanscape and its framework is a partnership at that level that promotes collaboration and exchanges between marine protected areas in the region and beyond, promotes scientific research and exchange on issues such as implications of climate change and maritime boundaries, as well as strengthening the implementation of the UNSLOS in the region. The PIPA is a founding site of the Pacific Oceanscape. With the recent addition of the Cook Islands, which His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Cook Islands touched on very eloquently yesterday. Others include the Micronesian Challenge, the Coral Triangle Initiative, fisheries conservation and management efforts, such as under the Nauru Agreement, and the ongoing work of the foreign fisheries agencies, the Secretariat of the Pacific Community, and the Secretariat of the Pacific Regional Environmental Program. The Pacific Oceanscape is a good example of partnership between Pacific Islands Forum members and their partners on ocean management at scale. For us, sustainable management of our ocean is a matter of survival of our Pacific people. It is a matter of global food security and global security in terms of the ecosystem services that the Pacific Ocean provides. At this year's Pacific Island Forum Leaders Summit this year in New Zealand, leaders appointed the Secretary General of the Pacific Islands Forum, Mr. Teuea, Ronnie Slate as Ocean Commissioner. His role is critical to the advancement of ocean management at scale under the Pacific Oceanscape. We invite you to partner us on this journey to safeguard what Sylvia Airy refers to as the heart of the planet, the blue planet. Ladies and gentlemen, before we can talk about access to environmental and societal data, we need to have the data or have the data exist somewhere. As the production of data is costly, this is where partnership can play a key role. Both PIPA and the Pacific Oceanscape are examples of such partnership promoting the generation of data for the sustainable management and conservation of ocean and its ecosystem services. Access to information and networks outside our region is also critical for their effective management. As we prepare for the Rio +20, while we acknowledge our failure in restoring the health of our Earth, we must move forward with some sense of optimism and renewed commitment to partnership and collaboration to address the challenges we discussed 10 years ago in Rio. Challenges like climate change and biodiversity loss that have become worse with the emergence of new ones, such as food and water security. We must focus on the possible effort in the area of biodiversity conservation that have sprung around the world over the last 10 years that need to be supported. We need to move towards the resolution of the root causes of Earth's problem, that of greed and selfishness. While we also acknowledge the need for further research to fully understand the state of our environment and our planet and save humanity, at the Rio Summit in 1992, we also agreed to the precautionary principle to ensure the sustainability of our natural ecosystems in the absence of food information. This is where this summit can contribute. We in Kiribati and in the Pacific are the raw materials needed to study the state of the environment and the impact of human-induced activities, given the pristine nature of our environment and the absence of human touch. Stretch. Others, such as the donor and science communities, have the capacity, the research required to produce the data. If we contribute, all these will be available to make the world of difference in generating data critical for ensuring the survival of humanity and our Earth. Survival of humanity and of our Earth is an end towards which data and the actors are just means. Partners and collaborations are key to achieving this end. Support initiatives such as PIPA and the Pacific Oceanscape that provide the platform for such collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, before I close, it may be helpful to recall the 210 International Year of Biodiversity World Environmental Day theme, which says, "Many species, one planet, one future." This is a reminder of our strong connection to our environment, our ocean, our planet, Earth. Hence, the need to keep an eye on Earth to ensure its viability to support life. Perhaps we need to follow the wise words of Ed Beckley Jr., who said that, and I quote, "We who have so much must do more to help those in need. And most of all, we must live simply so others may simply live," unquote. Let me conclude by wishing you all the best in your various roles in delivering the vision to preserve Earth's life support systems for the survival of humanity. And I do this with our Kiribati traditional blessings of the Maori, Teroi, and the Tapemwa, which means health, peace, and prosperity. Thank you.